All right, there were two common mistakes made on this problem as I was walking around and answering questions. Um, People seem to make one of two mistakes. The most common mistake was if you're looking to find the weight, W, of an alligator that's 10 feet long. Okay, the biggest mistake was to plug in 10 for L and try to solve it. Okay, the reason that doesn't work is if you look at the original wording of the problem, it tells you that L is in inches. But 10 feet is not in inches. So the first thing that you would have to do if you made that mistake is to convert from feet into inches. So 10 feet is how many inches? 120. And so now if you plug that in, you plug 120 in for L and solve for 27.1 times the ln of W minus 32.8. And we can just use our calculators for this, solve for W, we'll get our solution. And now the other mistake that tended to be made was to, when you were entering these on your calculator, was to put this minus 32.8 inside the log. So you want to be careful to close off your log after the variable. And so here's how you would enter this information. Hit the F2 Algebra tab, solve, and enter your equation. 120 is equal to 27.1 times the natural log, ln, is located here, second function x. And then W, I'm going to use the variable x instead just to make it easier to type in. And notice I close off my log right here after I enter the x. And then minus the 32.8, comma x tells me I'm solving for my variable, which again, I replace the W with an x. And when I hit enter, I get my answer, 281. Now, one of the kind of questions that came up here, so this is what W is equal to. Okay, notice this is 281.006. It asks you to round to the nearest tenth, right? So the nearest tenth is, we cut it off after the tenth. Does this 0 round the 0 up? No, so we just leave it as it is. And now the question is, why wasn't it right if you just put 281 as your answer? And the reason is, which of these is more specific? If you remember significant digits from science class, you might see, how many significant digits are there here? 3, and how many here? 4. So this one's a little more accurate or specific. So since it asks you to round to the nearest tenth, and you can see that to the nearest tenth, you know that this rounds to 0.0. Okay? I would prefer that you use it in that form.